Welcome back to the deep dive. We are tackling a giant today. And I don't say that lightly.
Not at all.
If you look at the landscape of Eastern philosophy, there are hills, there are valleys, and then, there are the Himalayas.
And this is Everest.
Today, we are climbing Everest.
It really is the peak. We're talking about the Lotus Sutra.
And looking at the research, this isn't just another religious text. The sources describe it as a kind of declaration of independence for the human spirit.
That's a great way to put it. It completely rewrote the rules of Buddhism in East Asia, China, Japan, Korea. A total game changer.
But before we get to the revolution, help me decode the title. It's formally the Siddharma Pundarika Sutra.
Right. It's a mouthful, but the breakdown is, well, it's beautiful. Siddharma means the wonderful truth or wonderful Dharma.
Okay.
And Pundarika is the specific term for the white lotus.
The lotus is pretty standard Buddhist imagery, though, isn't it? Why is this specific metaphor the title?
Because of the biology. See, a lotus doesn't grow in a pristine greenhouse.
No, it grows in the mud.
Exactly. It roots itself in the swamps, the muck, the filth. But when it blooms, the flower itself is pristine. It's spotless.
So the sutra is saying enlightenment isn't about escaping the mud of your life.
It's saying it happens because of the mud.
That's a huge shift from the stereotype of the monk, hiding in a cave.
Well, a massive shift.
It's saying the traffic jams, the stress, the noise, that's actually the soil you need.
Precisely. And to understand how radical that is, we have to unpack the three core teachings of this text.
The notes highlight three big ones: Ekayana, or the one vehicle.
Then the universal Buddha nature.
And finally, the concept of the eternal Buddha.
That's the trifecta.
So let's start with that first one, Ekayana,
Mm-hmm.
the one vehicle. This is where the controversy started, right?
Right.
Because up until this point, the Buddha had been teaching that there were different strokes for different folks.
He had. Traditionally, the teachings were split into three distinct paths or vehicles. You had the path for the listeners, the disciples who just wanted to learn. You had the path for the solitary realizers, people doing it on their own. And then you had the bodhisattvas.
The heroes trying to save everyone.
Yes.
It feels a bit like a university system. You've got your associate's degree, your bachelor's, and your PhD. And the assumption was, if you're on the associate track,
You weren't going to get the PhD.
Yeah.
Exactly. People thought these were separate destinations. You pick your lane, you stay in it.
but the Lotus Sutra drops a bomb.
It really does. It says, those three paths, they were a lie.
A lie.
Wow. A benevolent lie. The text calls it upaya.
Skillful means.
Skillful means, exactly. The Buddha essentially says, look, I only told you there were three paths because you weren't ready for the truth. In reality, there is only Ekayana.
One track.
There is only one track, and everyone is on it.
So whether you think you're just a casual meditator or a hardcore monk, the destination is the same.
The destination is full, complete Buddhahood,
Yeah.
no glass ceilings.
But wait, if the Buddha, the embodiment of truth, is using skillful means to, mislead people, isn't that ethically murky?
That's the tension the sutra plays with. And to explain it, the text uses the parable of the burning house. It's one of the most famous stories in all of Buddhist literature.
I was reading this and it's terrifying. You've got a massive decrepit mansion. It's literally falling apart, rot in the walls.
And suddenly it catches fire.
Yeah.
And the owner, a wealthy father who represents the Buddha, is safe outside, but his kids are still inside playing.
And the roof is collapsing, sparks are flying.
And the kids are completely oblivious. They're distracted by their games.
Which is us.
That's us. We are the kids, distracted by our status, our money, our little dramas, while the house of our mortality burns down around us.
And the father yells at them to get out, but they just ignore him.
They're having too much fun, so he can't reason with them.
He has to bribe them.
He has to bribe them. He knows what they love, so he yells, "Hey, come outside. I've got new toys for you. I've got a goat cart, a deer cart, and an ox cart."
And these represent those three lower paths we talked about. Manageable goals.
Right. Come out and you can be a saint. Come out and you can have peace. And it works. The kids scramble out of the burning house.
But here's the twist.
The big twist. When they get outside, safe and sound, the father doesn't give them a goat cart or a deer cart.
He pulls a bait and switch.
He does, but he gives them something infinitely better. He gives everyone a great white ox cart. It's described as this bejeweled, massive Rolls-Royce of a vehicle.
So the question is, did the father lie?
And the sutra says no. He used a necessary illusion to save their lives. The three vehicles were just the bait to get us out of the breading building of suffering. But once we're safe, he reveals the real gift.
The one vehicle. The great white ox cart.
It's a powerful defense of pragmatism. It doesn't matter how you get to the truth as long as you get there.
It also unifies all of Buddhism then. It's saying, stop fighting about which school is better.
They are all just toy carts to get you out of the fire.
There's a brief mention in the notes about a specific king's crown jewel analogy that reinforces this.
Yes, that's like the icing on the cake. The story goes that a king, the Buddha, has many treasures he gives to his soldiers as rewards.
Right.
But he keeps one special jewel hidden in his hair topknot. He never gives it away lightly because it's too valuable.
So he holds it back.
He only gifts it to the most capable person at the absolute right time. The Lotus Sutra is that jewel. It's the ultimate truth that was kept in reserve until the students were ready.
Which segues into the why. Why is everyone entitled to this great white ox cart? This leads to that second pillar, Tathagata,
Buddha nature.
the hidden treasure.
This is the concept that enlightenment isn't something you go out and acquire. It's not an external achievement. It is a seed that is already inside you right now.
I think this is the hardest sell for modern listeners. Most of us feel pretty flawed. I certainly don't feel like I have a cosmic golden seed inside me when I'm doom scrolling at 2 a.m.
And the sutra totally anticipates that imposter syndrome. It gives us the parable of the lost son.
This one hit home. You have a son who runs away from his wealthy father.
Yes, he runs away, squanders his life, totally forgets who he is. He spends years living in poverty, taking odd jobs, barely surviving.
Decades pass.
Decades later, he wanders back to his father's estate. The father is now incredibly powerful, like a king. But the son...
The son doesn't recognize him.
No. He sees this powerful figure and thinks, I don't belong here, I'm just a beggar. He's terrified.
But the father recognizes him.
Immediately. But he doesn't run up and hug him.
Why not?
Because the son's mind is too small. He's too traumatized by his poverty. If the father said, hey, you own all this, the son would faint or run away. He just can't handle the truth yet.
So the father uses upaya again. Skillful means.
He hires the son to clean the stables.
He makes him shovel manure.
For 20 years, the son shovels manure at his own house, thinking he's just a hired hand. The father watches from a distance, slowly building the son's confidence, giving him slightly better jobs.
Until he's on his deathbed.
It's only on his deathbed that the father brings everyone together and says, this is my son. All of this has always been his.
That is tragic, but also so hopeful. The manure shoveling is our daily grind. We identify with the struggle, not the inheritance.
We are poor only because we have amnesia. There's another quick analogy the text uses for this, the gem in the robe.
The drunk's friend story.
Yes. A man gets drunk at a friend's house and falls asleep. The friend has to leave, but before he goes, he sews a priceless jewel into the lining of the sleeping man's robe as a gift.
And the guy wakes up, hungover, has no idea, and goes off to live as a beggar.
He's walking around with $1 million in his pocket, begging for spare change. That is the Lotus Sutra's view of humanity. You aren't lacking anything, you just haven't looked in your pocket.
Okay, so if we all have this jewel, this Buddha nature, how do we actually find it? The sources mention a few different schools of thought here.
Right. This is where the philosophy diverges. Everyone agrees the jewel is there, but they disagree on how to get it out of the lining.
So let's take Zen. Zen is all about self-power.
They say, the jewel is there. Stop overthinking it.
Just reach in and grab it.
Basically, it's about Kenshu seeing your true nature immediately. It's direct, sometimes aggressive. Strip away the delusions, and there it is.
Okay, then you have the more analytical types, the Madhyamaka school.
They are the surgeons. They use intellect. They analyze reality until they realize that your ego and your problems don't inherently exist. They are empty, or sunyata.
And by realizing that emptiness, the debris clears and the jewel shines through.
Exactly.
What about the Yogacara school? That's the mind-only approach.
Yes. They take a psychological route. They meditate to realize that everything we experience is a projection of the mind. If you purify the stream of the mind, you find the Buddha nature flowing within it.
And finally, you have the Pure Land school, which seems to take the complete opposite approach to all of these.
A complete opposite. They look at the burning house and say, I can't get out of here on my own. It's too smoky. I need help. They rely on other power.
Calling on Amitabha Buddha to save them.
Yes, but under the logic of the Lotus Sutra, these are all just
different skillful means.
Exactly. Zen, Pure Land, Tantra, they are all just different doors into the same room. The Lotus Sutra is the unifying theory that says it doesn't matter which door you take, just get in the room.
Which brings us to the third pillar.
Yeah.
And honestly, this one felt the most like a sci-fi plot twist. the eternal Buddha.
It really changes the scope of the religion.
Because the standard history is Prince Siddhartha becomes the Buddha, teaches for 40 years, eats some bad mushrooms, and dies at age 80. End of story.
That's the biography. But the Lotus Sutra says, think bigger. It claims that the historical Buddha was just a projection, a hologram.
A hologram.
The text calls it a nirmanakaya, a transformation body. It says the true Buddha is the Dharmakaya, the truth body. He exists outside of time. He didn't become enlightened under the Bodhi tree. He has always been enlightened.
So why the charade? Why pretend to be born and die if you're an eternal cosmic force?
And to explain that, we get one last parable, the skilled physician.
This is the one with the poisoned kids.
Right. A doctor has children who accidentally drink poison. They are delirious, losing their minds. He mixes a cure, but some of the kids are so crazy from the poison they refuse to take it.
They don't trust him.
They're too far gone. And the doctor realizes, as long as I'm standing here, they take me for granted. They think, Dad will fix it.
So he leaves.
He goes on a journey and sends a messenger back to tell them, your father is dead.
That is dark. It's a shock tactic.
But it works. The shock of abandonment snaps them out of their delirium. They realize, we're alone. We have to save ourselves. They take the medicine and are cured.
And once they're cured,
The father comes back and says, I never left.
so the Buddha's death was just a way to stop us from being lazy, to get us to take our own medicine.
That's the argument. His absence forces us to practice the Dharma, but the comforting message is, he hasn't really abandoned us. The truth body is still here. Always.
Speaking of still here, the sutra isn't just philosophy. It offers protection. The notes mention dharani. Are these like spells?
Yes, magic spells, essentially. The text promises that if you uphold the Lotus Sutra, you get cosmic bodyguards, deities, spirits, even these converted demons called yakshas are said to protect the practitioner.
But the biggest figure here is Avalokitesvara, or Guan Yin.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Chapter 25 is dedicated entirely to Guan Yin. It's like the emergency number for the universe.
The promise is that if you call out their name in suffering, they respond immediately.
Immediately. And just like the skillful means we talked about, Guan Yin can shapeshift 33 different forms.
Man, woman, child, dragon.
Whatever you need in that moment, it's the ultimate flexibility of compassion. If you need a stern teacher, Guan Yin appears as a stern teacher. If you need a nurturing friend, they appear as a friend.
It just reinforces that core theme again.
Yeah.
Do whatever works to help people.
Exactly.
We can't wrap this up without talking about how people actually use this text. In Japan, this sutra is everything for the Nichiren school.
Oh, huge. In the 13th century, a monk named Nichiren looked at all these Buddhist texts and said, this is it. The Lotus Sutra is the only one that matters.
He went all in.
All in. And he boiled the practice down to the title. He said, you don't need to read the whole thing. You just need to chant the title. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo.
Homage to the Lotus Sutra.
And for Nichiren, this wasn't about chilling out on a cushion. It was active. It was about tapping into that Buddha nature, that manure-covered jewel, and forcing it to shine right now.
So it could change your life in the here and now.
Your health, your finances, your relationships. It made the high philosophy very, very practical.
So when we step back and look at the whole picture, the burning house, the hidden jewel, the eternal lifespan, what is the so what? What are we supposed to walk away with?
I think the core message is radical inclusion. The Lotus Sutra tears down the velvet ropes. It says you don't need to be a monk, you don't need to be special, and you don't need to wait for a future lifetime.
It's strictly against gatekeeping.
Exactly. It says the tools for your liberation are already in your pocket. You just have to stop being distracted by the burning house long enough to find them.
I love that. And I want to leave everyone with a thought about that burning house. If our modern world, the notifications, the career ladder, the endless news cycle, is the burning house, and the toys are the things we chase to distract ourselves,
Then what's your great white ox cart?
that's the question. What is the vehicle that actually carries you to something real?
Something to mull over.
Thanks for climbing the mountain with us today.
A pleasure.
Keep exploring.